All right, I appreciate you watching. I'm going to do a quick review on the Blade Fusion 360. This is one of the later Fusion models, the third installment out of four. This has been out about a year. This does carry a lot of the Horizon's newer stuff, which I'll go over. But first off, let me say that, coming from someone who builds kits and, buys my own electronics, and I customize things, I set up things the way I want. When you fly a kit, you build a kit and you program it the way you want versus you fly a bind and fly. It is very different. The quality is different typically. This was assembled at a factory. They're not necessarily taking their time. They, whatever, throw a pitch gauge on it. Hey, it's neutral. It flies okay. Everything's good. Whatever. So, you have to remember that this is still a bind and fly helicopter. You will more than likely have to tune and tweak and do things to make it your own, to make it fly better. Maybe it's not zeroed perfectly. Maybe your blades are not, zero pit. One blade is a little negative or positive compared to the other one at neutral. And you have to go in and do those things. I've already tested most of this at neutral. The pretty close, 0.3 off, negative, a little teeny bit difference of the blades. Nothing to go and write home about or really change. I'm gonna fly it. I think helicopters have a break-in period. I've only flown this thing twice, and it's still breaking it in, loosening everything up. Belts are super tight, this, that, and the other. So yeah, a bind and fly helicopter, you do have to take your time, break it in, and go in and change some stuff up if you want to. Now, the good thing about this is this comes with some really nice stuff. The motor is the same as the old CFX, whatever. The servos are updated, but they're the same servo. They're 3055 and 3065s. They're the exact same servos before. They're just programmed a little bit differently. They've gone in and done some changes to the way they function. And so they're programmed a little bit better, tuned a little bit better. I haven't noticed a big difference between these and the 20 and the 270, but I haven't really paid any attention. Now, this does come with Horizon's new flight controller. Now, this flight controller, you can now buy an open stock version and throw it on any helicopter you want. I like the way this thing flies. It feels very locked in. I have no complaints. I like it just as much as Beast X per se. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't really see a big difference. Now, this does not have a receiver built into it like a AR-7210. You do have to, of course, have your own receiver. If you've built helicopters, you know what I'm talking about. This is the old style receiver down here. This is a receiver that came out about 3 or 4 years ago. It is actually a drone telemetry receiver, whatever, serial receiver, basic stuff. But this is the old version. I have since gone ahead and picked up the new version, which is the SRXL2. So if you wanted to upgrade your 360, I do recommend putting on the newer version receiver. This is also you're gonna get your telemetry through this, of course, but it's just a plug and play thing. It's just a receiver. Doesn't mess with anything. Doesn't mess with your flight controller. It's just a link between your sticks and your flight controller. But this is the new one that just came out not too long ago. As you can see, it's very, very cheap, but you will get a little bit better range, better performance out of this. And not only that, it really looks a lot nicer than the one they put in there. I mean, the case, it's got a bind button on it already. It's very, very nice. You're going to be able to do away with this bind plug here that they've got taped on the side and all these, this little extra. The way that this worked was it has a Y. Y is off into a bind into. So anyway, you're going to be able to do away with that, clean up the helicopter a little bit, and this looks a lot nicer. They have this zip tie here that literally doesn't hold anything on. They just kind of threw it over there. This is double-sided tape, but not a big deal there. As long as your flight controller doesn't move, So yeah, that's good. This is something that I'm going to do. Like I said, I've only flown this helicopter twice, and this is something I definitely wanted to do immediately. Now, you can also buy bailout for this as well. The new flight controller does have bailout available as an update. Very easy to do. So if you want safe on this, great. Do I need safe? No. Is it nice to have? Absolutely, it's nice to have. I don't care how good of a pilot you are. If you can have it, why not have it? So I did go ahead and pick up a programming, the TX to RX, which is transmitter to receiver USB programming cable. Very, very cheap, $16.99. SPMA 3065. So I will download the software and put bailout on here and do all that good stuff probably next week. But now let's talk more about the helicopter. In my opinion, the Fusion 360 is the nicest bind and fly model Horizon has ever come out with. They've gone away with their blade, no boom supports. I think the design looks great. Maybe not as nice as some other companies that have carbon fiber booms, if you know what I'm talking about. But next to companies like Goblin and stuff with those really nice, booms, fuselage style booms, I love the way this looks. I love the color. I love the gloss black. I love the blade logo. It's very, very sleek. I love it. I really do love it. I think it looks amazing. It's surely cheaper. And Horizon is not necessarily about making super expensive Gucci models. This is about kind of getting into it. But this is very nice for a bind and fly model. I love the fly controller. It's so much better than the old ones. Like I said, the 1800 kV motor is whatever. You get a steel pinion gear. They don't give you brass. They go ahead and put steel on there. You get a Hobby Wing 60 amp Pro ESC with an IC3. This does not have smart, but they do still give you the IC3, but I love Hobby Wing ESCs. This is an ESC that I would consider sticking in a kit, and so I think that that's awesome. New landing gear style. It's much wider than before. It's got a more traditional sled look. The blade logo on the bottom of the motor, little details that they've gone the extra mile. They got the blade logo carved into the bottom plate here. Little things like that I absolutely love. And little attentions to detail that they've thrown into this that they haven't done to any Fusion model before. Even the 480 doesn't, lacks these little cool niche things that they do. I think it looks awesome. Now, it's the same belt, same pulley, same spur as the old 360s, same anti-rotation bar, same servo blocks, but they have painted it black. The black anodizing looks great. And another thing is, here's the head. Your grips have the new logos. They've got the little center lines, which I don't trust. I just get a pitch gauge, guys. But very, very neat that they've done that. And they've actually gone to this nice, rough, kind of matte finish. It almost reminds me of a very, very... It's not Cerakote, but it kind of reminds me of a Cerakote finish. I love it. I think it looks amazing. I hope that all their black anodizing is this kind of rough matte material. It looks really good. The swash is got a little bit of matte, a little bit of gloss on there. They did retool their linkages here. They fit way tighter than the 270 or the old 360s. They would move a lot. These things are really snug, so that's great there. Not, hopefully they don't wear out or anything like that. But yeah, so I'm loving this thing. They've gone to a matte finished carbon. They don't have the gloss anymore. Aluminum body posts. You get 2 on each side now. So yeah, not too much more to talk about here. Let's go to the back. The boom is a little bit higher gloss finish than the Fusions before it. And I like that. They also have the new blade design, so much better than the old blades. They do have this nice chamfered edge here. They actually get pretty sharp at the end. If you do fly one of these or get to listen to one of them, they are extremely quiet. I could not believe how quiet this helicopter is. They also have a new tail case. Now, this is very nice as well. You do get plastic rear blades. Maybe they'll come out with carbons in the future. Not a big deal. You do get aluminum tail blade grips, aluminum slider, all that. All this is aluminum. That's perfect. I mean, this is what you would want on a nice kit. But yeah, your bell crank's aluminum. All this stuff back here is metal, and you even get this new tail case, and it looks so good. Completely all aluminum. I'm not sure of the quality aluminum, but it looks very good quality to me. I've never seen any complaints of blade Horizon aluminum quality on their helis. Bigger bearings, aluminum case, aluminum pulley, as you can see in there. You can actually see the belt. A very similar design of what you would see on a higher end helicopter, and even very similar, well, not very similar, but similar to like the 480 Fusion. This is the way to do it. And this is the right direction. I really do believe Blade should definitely continue to go in directions and creating stuff like this. This is very competitive. This looks very good. And not only that, it performs really, really good. Yes, this is a more expensive model, $550 360. But guys, I don't know if you've built any kits or not, but this is an excellent value, especially if you're a Spectrum guy and you already fly Spectrum. The value is amazing. To give you, let's say, to give you an example, I'm building a 380 Goblin. All right, it's the new Buddy, just the helicopter, and it's almost the exact same size, just a little bit bigger. Just the helicopter is $400. And so by the time it's all said and done, now I'm not putting cheap stuff in it. I'm putting BK servos in it, and I'm gonna run a CC Light 75 and an AR 7210. I'm not necessarily going super, I'm not doing anything cheap, but that helicopter is probably gonna cost close to $1,000. And it's the exact same size as this. Is half the price, pre-built, ready to go. And so the value is out of this world, in my opinion, especially with the new quality of these helicopters. I would love to see a 270 V2 with a lot of the design implements of this carried over and just made smaller. And I hope they do that. I bet you they will. But onto the helicopter, there's not too much more to say. You do get, of course, the new logo, the nice matte finished aluminum battery tray. They have proper servo geometry. They mount, all of their Fusions, all of their Helis now mount like this. So it's a very neat setup. It looks great. It's actually got a lot of weight in the tail. I found it that you have to run your battery pretty far forward. But I mean, for the price and for the looks and the quality, and it is Horizon, so product support and part support is plentiful. This is an excellent helicopter. The performance is great, not amazing, not necessarily, like I said, it's not a kit. You're not, you get an 1800 kV motor, you're running 6S. You can go in and change your RPMs, but the performance is really, really good. And I am running the 1800 6S Smart Pack, and if you do run this pack, you need to run it actually way up here, about right at the almost about flush with the battery tray. A lot of the battery does hang off, but that's where my helicopter CG'd at. And if you run it back here, it is very, very tail heavy, which I was very surprised. I didn't CG it. I threw it on, put it about right there, and I was getting so much backwards drift. I thought my trim was off, but my swash was very level from the factory, and ended up going and CGing it like I should have to begin with. And the battery actually needs to sit up here. Have a little bit of Velcro. I just have a little Velcro pad right up here, not covering the logo or anything. That is all you need. It's not going to go anywhere. And so I'll probably throw a Scorpion strap on here when this starts to wear. But yeah, this is an amazing model, guys. Forward programming. You go on Spectrum.com. I didn't set up anything. They give you the setup sheet. If you go and build a kit, you don't get any of this. You have to do all this yourself. And so anyway, and if you're not familiar, it can be a pain. But you don't even have to do any of this now. You can just go on, if you have compatible radio, you can just go on Spectrum, SD card, put it in your radio, and it completely downloads everything you need. I was up and flying in less than 10 minutes. I had to program nothing. I just had to charge my battery really and do the proper checks, make sure everything is good, wipe off the carbon dust from the factory, and that's pretty much all you need to do. Also, the Canopy, in my opinion, is the prettiest canopy on the market next to some of the other companies. In Blade's canopy line, this thing is just, this looks amazing. I think they did an excellent job on this, and I'm so glad they went away with the yellow. This looks so good. There's no cracks in this. A lot of times I'll get cracked fuselages from any company just because it's fiberglass and it is brittle. But it looks so good. It fits well. It's very, very nice. I just love the colors. It looks so good. And a big reason why I love this helicopter so much is simply just because the way it looks. I think it looks amazing. So if you're thinking about getting a Fusion 360, it really is the best of the best when it comes to bind and fly and Horizon. The performance is great. You can change your head speeds straight from your throttle curve and your transmitter. And it's just very smooth. You have a very good name brand ESC. Hobbywing makes great stuff. You have a 60 amp Platinum. E-Flight motors or Blade motors, whatever, Horizon stuff. I've never had any issues. The servos the 3055, the 3065s, yeah, I know the 3050s and 3060s don't have the best rep, but they are better. But if you wanted to change these out, you could, with the complications of going through and adding another flight controller, because you cannot, I don't think they're going to let you go in and change this. It's not an open stock model. But, you know, I mean, really, this helicopter is amazing. I do believe future models will start to ship with the new, with this new SRX receiver, because they've discontinued that anyway. So I do believe that if you do get a model maybe within the next year or so, this is going to already come in it. But if not, $39, not a big deal. And like I said, if you do want to put the safe software on there, you're going to need this and a Windows computer, which everybody typically has. So yeah, the Fusion 360, an amazing helicopter. I highly recommend it. I will be putting on some GoPro Hero 7 footage on my head of me flying it. That's the best I can usually do. But it's a good helicopter. It's very quiet. It performs really well. No tail wag, no oscillating, no nothing. The gyro gain seems to be working fine for at least now. I'm still in the break-in period, but I will definitely keep you guys updated as far as if I have any issues with it. But I'll put a flight video up as soon as the rain goes away. Anyway, if you have any questions about any of the Fusion helicopters or the 360, leave a comment, and I really appreciate you watching.